If you're having trouble with figure drawing, there's a good chance you're skipping a very important step. And that has nothing to do with anatomy books or years of practice. It comes down to something much simpler: basic shapes. Today I'm going to show you why breaking the human body into simple forms isn't just a beginner trick, it's actually how experienced artists think when they draw. So let's get into it. So here's the thing about the human body. It's incredibly complex. Hundreds of muscles and bones shifting under the skin. It's very precise, and if you get it wrong, it's very obvious. So if you try to draw all of that at once, your brain can't process it. Basic shapes solve that problem by giving your brain a manageable task. Instead of drawing a person, you're drawing a sphere, two cylinders and a box, and maybe that's it. Your mind can handle that. But what makes this more than a beginner shortcut is that shapes capture volume. A circle is flat, a sphere has weight on the other hand. When you train yourself to see the body as a three-dimensional form right from the start, your figures stop looking like outlines and they start to feel like they exist in space. So I like to start with the head, a little narrower at the bottom to distinguish a chin, and then I like to start off with two boxes, one for the abdomen and one for the rib cage. Now, sometimes I like to not do the abdomen box. I like to keep it free, just so you can get kind of a bend in the spine whenever you draw certain poses. You'll see what I mean later. But overall, I like to keep a box for the rib cage and then another for the hips, right? That's important. I stick to that no matter what. And from there, what I like to do is I like to draw a little bit of the clavicle. The clavicle is where the shoulders and the arms are attached, right, to the rest of the body. So you draw in the neck, right? You draw the neck, and then the arms. Again, all of this is just spheres and cylinders. That's really it. Now from here on out, from the hips, I like to draw two cylinders, right? And sometimes I connect from the from the hips to the knee at an angle. Because from what I understand, like the bones, they don't go straight down. They kind of connect at an angle depending on the angle of the hip bones, which we can cover in a different video. But yeah, I keep it simple here, right? Cylinders, spheres, cylinder again, another sphere for the ankle, and then the feet, right? Just I keep it loose, and it doesn't need to be exact. The whole point is that we simplify things. And you can apply this to basically any pose. You see me doing the exact same thing again. I'm drawing two boxes, one for the rib cage, the other for the hips, and I'm connecting it with the line for the spine. And then you see me here again. I'm creating that progression. That's so that you can see side by side why this matters. So you see how it starts off, and now we have an understanding of the position of the rib cage, the hips, the clavicle, the shoulders, right? And now I'm just making a lot more detailed at this point. So you can see here, like the same thing applies to basically any pose. At this point, I'm just like creating more and more details. So I'm trying the same thing again, so you guys can understand that this idea of the fundamentals, it applies to pretty much any pose. I'm starting off with two boxes, right? One for the rib cage and then another for the hips. And this time the person is kind of leaned over a little to the right. So you can kind of see that little bend in the spine. And of course, I'm drawing the rib cage, the clavicle, the shoulders, and it's a little bit tilted. And I kind of did a rough sketch of the hips. And as we get closer and closer to like the final image, you kind of see how it all starts from the basic shapes. And of course, it applies in pretty much any pose. Even if there's like some foreshortening, it still applies. Or if it's a dynamic pose where the person is a little bit bent over and the arms are doing like a different kind of thing, it still applies. Right? So my best advice to you guys is really try to look at what shapes are in the figure itself, and then just draw that. Keep things very simple, right? And then just practice over and over. So yeah, if you like this kind of content, let me know. I hope you guys found this helpful. Consider subscribing if you already didn't. And, comment down below what you guys think of this. And if you guys have any questions, let me know. So, yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. Thank you guys for watching.